On real estate, like you've diversified your real estate over the years to have not just, those rental properties, but then like hotels and then commercial. And did you grow into that as you got more and more comfortable with the
Yeah.
different, I guess, sub asset classes of real estate?
Yeah, that's a great point, Brian, because I started with a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. Then I went to another one and another one. Then we went to a 6-plex, then a 12-plex, and just kept working our way up. And we always say start small, because one of the keys of learning, one of the main keys is we're going to make mistakes. Every time you start something new, and I think that's what holds people back. They're so afraid of making mistakes, but the only way we learn is by making mistakes. So I start small on the little ones. And then as we get more and more, I get more experience, I get more knowledge, I get more confidence. Then we go bigger and bigger. What really set us apart was I think we had about 60 units at the time. And it was taking all of my time because I was managing the properties. And I couldn't buy any more properties. And then I ran into our dear friend now, Ken McElroy, and he's a property management company. And I'm like, oh, thank God. And he had the exact same values, buy property, cash flow the property, same values as we did. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Now, can you manage my properties? And he said, no. And I'm like, why not? He said, because we only manage properties of 120 units or more. I'm like, okay. So the next deal we did was 120 units. And that started us on the road of larger apartment buildings. And then, of course, you get more and more confident. One of the biggest mistakes I made in the world of investing, I lost out on an opportunity. It was a fitness club. It was a bigger deal than I was used to. And I let this mind get in my way and tell me why I was going to make mistakes and why I was going to lose money and it's going to be a disaster. I brought in attorneys. It was a mess. Lost that deal. But because of it, and I'd been working on it for so long, another similar deal popped up. And I'm like, oh, I know this. I know the numbers. I know what it's supposed to do. The beauty was the first deal was in Florida. I was living in Phoenix. The second deal was 3 blocks from my house in Phoenix. So sometimes the biggest mistakes, that big mistake turned out to be actually today it's our best performing asset.
Wow. And so what's your advice on that, Kim? Because like you said, as things get a little bigger and maybe a slightly different asset class, your tendency is to think, okay, it's going to be different or it's going to be harder or I can't handle it. Like, what is your advice to people as things get bigger? That it's just a little bit bigger? It's just an extra zero on the income statement? Is that all it is?
Pretty much, there's more moving parts. You have to, I think the real key is great property management. You've got to have good property management. So, because I got to the point where I couldn't manage any more properties. And then I found some great teams and Kenny had a fantastic team. Even this, we're now in a senior housing development that we've just opened, but we brought in some of the best managers in the US companies to manage the property. So I don't pretend to have all the answers by any means. I have little answers, but I bring in people that have the experience and they have the knowledge and they know how to make it work. The formula, Brian, is pretty much the same. It's income less expense equals your net operating income. And that's what the banks lend on, your net operating income, your NOI, less your debt equals your cash flow. That's the formula. And just the bigger deals have more numbers, more expenses, more income. But that's the simple formula.
Do you ever ask yourself, Kim, like, why aren't more people doing this if it's so simple?
I do. And I think it's just fear that holds them back. Fear of losing money, fear of making a mistake. I mean, I was afraid the first time I did a deal, I had to come up with $5,000 and I didn't have $5,000. And I think people talk themselves out of it, or they listen to people who have never done a real estate deal, who have never purchased rental properties. I think if there's any shortcut to success, it's to find a great mentor or a great teacher who has done what it is you want to do. I call them real teachers versus fake teachers. They've actually done and have experience in what it is you want to do. I think that's one of the keys. And too often I see people talking to their relatives and husbands or wives or friends, and they just get talked right out of it. But it's really important to surround yourself with people, like-minded people who are doing that. I mean, there's a lot of online programs, seminars, things like that, where you meet people with similar goals and aspirations, people who have had the experience. I think that's key. I think who you surround yourself with is really, really crucial in terms of having success.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. The greedy bankers are about to do it again. In 2008, they crashed our financial system and nearly bankrupted the entire global economy. Then they received trillions of dollars in government bailouts. And after, they demanded fat bonuses paid for by you, the taxpayer.
It turns out the banks haven't just been screwing the American taxpayers, they're also screwing over their investors. Turns out the banking industry is the worst place you could put your money, despite enormous taxpayer bailouts.
Now the bankers are back to take away your financial freedom. They lie and tell you that cryptocurrency isn't safe. They try to make it illegal for you to choose how to invest your hard-earned money. They lie and say cryptocurrency is used by money launderers and criminals. But look at the record. It's the banks themselves that launder hundreds of billions of dollars every year to the biggest criminal operations in the world.
Leaked documents have revealed how some UK banks have helped criminals, money launderers and Russians under sanctions.
American authorities discovered that the Sinaloa cartel moved $881 million through HSBC accounts as bank officials turned a blind eye to the illegality.
The bankers lie and say cryptocurrency is not a real investment. Meanwhile, the smartest CEOs in the world are buying billions and billions of it. The truth is that banks lie about cryptocurrency because it makes them scared. The banks take $9 trillion per year of your hard-earned money, and they are worried that they will finally be exposed. They're scared because crypto means they can no longer control your money, which means they can no longer control you. They are scared because you might actually understand your money and intelligently decide what to do with it. Now is the time for us to come together, fight back, and take control. It's time to educate ourselves, our families, and our communities. Because financial education means financial freedom. We know that cryptocurrencies will help us build the new decentralized financial system of the future. A banking system that is of the people, by the people, and for the people. A banking system where access to finance is a fundamental human right. A banking system that is free and fair and welcomes all humans on this earth. The DeFi revolution is happening. We, the people, can no longer be fooled. We choose to take control of our finances. We choose to take control of our freedom. We choose to take control of our future. Join us, and let's take back our financial freedom forever.